I think I'm going to take that as a really good sign. I can't see any of you. The fact that you're all talking 19 to the dozen, even though the lights have gone down. Welcome back to the final Oxford Farming Conference session for this morning. We're still very much thinking and talking about people. I love this session, the Inspiring Farmers session, and not just because I've been lucky enough to chair it this year, but actually it's what really engaged me with OFC back in 2017. I was asked to get up here and tell a story about the hop industry. I must admit I found it very daunting, but anyway, didn't keep me away. And I do think this is always one of the best sessions at OFC, so no pressure, speakers. I'm really delighted this morning that we have got three amazing and very inspiring farmers with us. First up this morning, each are going to talk to you for, I hope, 8 minutes, and then we are going to move to Q&A. So again, get ready with your questions, either on the app or in the room. So first up this morning, we've got Polly Davies. Polly's from South Wales. She's a mixed organic tenant farmer. She also sits on the AHDB cereal and oilseeds sector council, and she has a 300-hectare lowland farm with a beef suckler herd and Romney ewes, organic cereals, and has diversified into direct selling and local community engagement, which I hope we're going to hear a bit about. Next up is Doug Wanstall from Kent, who has been bringing back animals to develop a truly circular farming system. He has a wedding business, a natural capital business, that's called Regeneration Earth, and he has been instrumental in the development of the UK Carbon Code of Conduct. So I think that's going to be very interesting for us to hear about. And finally, we're going to hear from David Manwaka, a farmer and founder of a fresh food business. David was born in Zimbabwe and came to the UK in 1991. And when he got here, he found that there was no white maize. And that started him on a journey, not just growing white maize, but sweet corn and other crops, which we're also going to hear about. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Polly Davies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Polly. So today I'm going to talk to you about three things. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is why I changed my job and came back and I'm now a farmer. The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is why I think it's an absolute privilege and a joy to be a farmer. And the third thing I'm going to talk to you about is I'm going to have a little bit of a rant and to talk about farming from a female perspective. So I grew up on the family farm, but I never really saw my place as the farmer. As a teenager, I worked in the body shop doing makeovers. I was absolutely atrocious at this. I then went on to study architecture at university, and then in my 20s, I worked in construction. I was a project manager, so if you're a project manager, largely your job is to work with a room full of guys whose name is Steve and get them to communicate. They are, I promise you, they're all called Steve. And get them to communicate better with each other. In the construction industry, there was pretty much 0 women over the age of 30. So during this point, at some point, I watched a YouTube do lecture. And I watched this do lecture, and it was given by a farmer called Alice Holden. Oh my God, she is a woman, she is a farmer, and she is my age. Maybe this is something I could do. I really believe role models are so important, and you cannot be what you cannot see. Alice was my absolute inspiration for changing my life in London and moving back from a steady salary to the family farm. Luckily, my husband decided to come with me. I'm not sure whether he thinks this is a good idea at the moment, but we'll see. He is currently the full-time butcher, monthly veg and meat bag deliverer, and schools coordinator. When I did this talk to him, he listed way more, but it's not about him, it's about me. we find we cannot farm in half measures. You have to go full on. So I'm now 40, and I've been farming now for 10 years, and I am really pleased we took this risk. However, it would be an absolute lie to say that I've never had second thoughts. Farming is tough. It's hard work, it's lots of hours, and in some respects, it is unyielding. So not possibly for the faint-hearted. But what is often missed when talking about farming is its beauty. It connects and it grounds you. I love the data and the science behind farming, but there is still so much creativity. Each piece of land is different, and it reacts differently to the seasons and the weather. And I really believe there is no other job in the world that connects you to the natural world like farming. We are all humans. We are all part of nature. But somewhere along the line, so many people have lost this connection and are no longer connecting the food they eat to the nature which is around us. They miss the cycle of life and death, which farmers inherently understand. On our farm, our motto is to connect local people to local food. We have a butchery. We put through 100% of our pork, about 30% of our beef, and about 15% of our lamb. We've also got a seasonal market garden, and through that we support about 50 customers with a weekly veg bag for about 6 months of the year. Direct selling is challenging. It really depends on the commodity price. It can be the most sensible thing in the world to do, and then an absolute insane thing to do, and this can change in a couple of months. However, it's the intangible public goods which is so often missed when you do direct selling. You are connecting people to their food. But it's not only that. Me as a farmer, I have a direct link to my customers. I know what my customers want, what my customers don't want, and who my customers are. All this knowledge is totally irreplaceable. Most people in this day and age want to be sustainable. They care about nature and want to reduce their footprint on the earth. And what we do on our farm, on a really small scale, is try to give our people, our customers, the opportunity to engage with this through the food they buy through us. To me, this is one of the privileges and joys of being a farmer. However, I do wonder how many me's there are out there in the ether, age 18, who don't see themselves as a farmer. I would love to say I think the world's changing, and attendance to any livestock, organic food, or in fact this conference, I am no longer the only woman in the room. There's tons of us, yippee! But definitely we have some work to do. If you attend any mechanical, tractor, or in fact arable talks or conferences, women are very much in the minority. I did not go to agricultural college when I was younger. However, I do have a lot of volunteers and young people on the farm who did. And unfortunately, they are nervous, unengaged, and uninspired by machinery and tractors. I was going to say I've got to say, the tractor and the machinery education they have received is not been encouraging, because I'm not allowed to swear. For example, Evie. Evie has worked for me since she was 13. She started agricultural college in September, and she came back and saw me at Christmas. Evie got told by her tutor, who was teaching her how to drive a telehandler, that she can already drive, that her fingers are not strong enough to open the valve to do the pressure for the tyres. She got told that a couple of weeks ago. Bernie, aged 19. Bernie worked for me over the summer. Bernie had been in agricultural college for a year, and she told me that She avoided all mechanical and tractor lectures because what they do is they just talk about what tractors they've got at home and don't teach you how to drive the damn things. Okay, now I appreciate changing all gender stereotypes across the whole of the UK might be slightly out of my remit. However, on my farm, I try to lead by example, and I try to encourage all our volunteers and our farm workers to just get a basic understanding of tractors when they spend their time with us. Tractors and machinery should not be avoided. Tractors are obviously necessary and important to farming, but we need women to be brave. We need to put ourselves outside our comfort zone, and we need to connect with this really bloody expensive kit, I'm really sorry, a really expensive kit, which is necessary and important for us to do our job. For me, I know that if I had not seen Alice all those many years ago on that Do lecture, I would not be here. You cannot be what you cannot see. And once you've got women through the door and they're engaged and they're interested in farming, we need to support them to stay here. Women don't like feeling like the odd one out. We need to create a space that looks and feels like theirs. Thank you for listening.